The rain was coming down hard that Tuesday evening. Lisa sat in her car outside the apartment building, her hands gripping the steering wheel. She hadn't been here in 3 years. Not since everything fell apart between her and Alex. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from him. She'd been staring at his texts for the past hour, reading them over and over. The words seemed so different from the Alex she remembered. More careful, more thoughtful. "I know this is sudden," his last message read. "But I really need to talk to you. Something big happened today, and you're the only person I want to share it with." That line hit her harder than she expected. After all this time, after all the silence between them, she was still the person he thought of first. It scared her and thrilled her at the same time. Lisa took a deep breath and stepped out of her car. The rain immediately soaked through her jacket. She ran toward the building entrance, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. This was crazy. She had a presentation tomorrow morning. She should be home, practicing her speech, not standing outside her ex's apartment building like some lovesick teenager. But here she was anyway. The elevator ride to the 4th floor felt like it lasted forever. Her reflection in the metal doors showed a woman who looked nothing like the girl who used to visit this building 3 years ago. Her hair was shorter now, more professional. Her clothes were more expensive. She'd grown up a lot since then. When the elevator dinged and the doors opened, her heart started beating faster. Alex's apartment was just down the hall, number 412. She remembered it perfectly, even though she'd tried so hard to forget. She walked, slowly, her wet shoes squeaking slightly on the floor. When she reached his door, she stood there for a moment, listening to the sounds coming from inside. She could hear music playing softly, something classical. That was new. Alex used to only listen to rock music. Finally, she knocked. 3 soft taps, just like she used to do when they were together. The music stopped. She heard footsteps. The door opened, and there he was. Alex looked different too. His hair was longer, and he had a bit of stubble that made him look older, more serious. He was wearing a simple blue shirt and jeans, but somehow he looked more put together than she remembered, like he'd figured some things out. "Lisa," he said softly, like he couldn't quite believe she was really there. "You came. You said it was important," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "And you're standing there getting soaked. Can I come in?" He stepped back quickly, almost stumbling over himself. "Of course, sorry, I wasn't sure you'd actually show up." Lisa walked into the apartment and immediately noticed how different it looked. Before, it had always been a bit messy, with clothes thrown around and dishes in the sink. Now everything was clean and organized. There were actual plants by the windows. Real ones, not the fake ones he used to have. "Nice place?" she said, looking around. "You've been busy." Alex closed the door behind her and ran his hand through his hair, a nervous habit she remembered well. "Yeah, I guess I have been. Can I take your jacket? You must be freezing." Lisa hesitated for a second, then slipped off her wet jacket. As Alex hung it up in the closet, she caught a whiff of his cologne. It was different from what he used to wear, more grown-up somehow. "So," she said, wrapping her arms around herself. "What's this big news that couldn't wait?" Alex turned to face her, and for a moment, they just looked at each other. 3 years of separation hung in the air between them. All the fights, all the hurt feelings, all the things they'd said that they couldn't take back. "I got the promotion," he said finally. "The one I've been working toward for 2 years. They want me to head up the new office in Seattle." Lisa felt her stomach drop. "Seattle? That's across the country." "I know." Alex walked over to his couch and sat down heavily. "That's why I called you. I've been sitting here for hours trying to figure out what to do, and I realized something. Every major decision I've made since we broke up, I've wondered what you would think about it, what you would say, what advice you'd give me." Lisa stayed standing by the door, not trusting herself to get too close. "Alex, we haven't talked in 3 years. I don't even know who you are anymore." "That's just it," he said, looking up at her with those same green eyes that used to make her heart skip. "I don't think I knew who I was back then either. I was so focused on trying to prove myself, trying to be successful, that I forgot about everything else that mattered. Including me, Lisa said quietly. Alex winced. Especially you. And I've regretted that every single day since. The words hung in the air between them. Lisa felt tears starting to form in her eyes, but she blinked them back. She'd cried enough. Over Alex Thompson 3 years ago. She wasn't going to start again now. Why are you telling me this? She asked. What do you want from me? Alex stood up and took a step closer to her, but not close enough to invade her space. I want to know if you think I should take the job. But more than that, I want to know if there's any chance, any possibility that we could try again. Because, Lisa, I've dated other people, I've tried to move on, but nobody has ever made me feel the way you did. Nobody has ever understood me the way you did. Lisa felt her careful composure starting to crack. Alex, you can't just call me up after 3 years and expect everything to go back to the way it was. We both said things. We both made choices. I know, he said softly. I'm not asking for everything to go back to the way it was. I'm asking if we could maybe start something new, something better. Because I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago, and from what I can see, neither are you. Lisa looked around the apartment again, really taking it in this time. The books on the shelves were different, more thoughtful. There was a photo on the side table of Alex with what looked like his family at some kind of celebration. He looked happy in it, but also somehow incomplete. You really have changed, she said finally. So have you, Alex replied. You look confident, strong, like you know exactly who you are and what you want. Lisa laughed, but it came out a bit shaky. Some days I do, other days I feel like I'm still figuring it all out. That's okay, Alex said. Maybe we could figure it out together. The rain outside was still coming down hard, drumming against the windows. Lisa realized she was at a crossroads. She could walk out that door right now, go back to her safe, predictable life and pretend this conversation never happened. Or she could take a chance on something that had once meant everything to her. She looked at Alex, really looked at him, and saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Not just love, but respect. Not just want, but understanding. Okay, she said quietly. Let's talk. Lisa found herself sitting on Alex's couch, a warm cup of tea in her hands. He'd made it just the way she used to like it, with honey instead of sugar. The fact that he remembered such a small detail after all this time made her chest feel tight. So, tell me about this job, she said, trying to focus on something safe. What would you be doing in Seattle? Alex sat across from her in his armchair, leaving space between them. She appreciated that he wasn't trying to sit too close, wasn't pushing for intimacy they weren't ready for yet. I'd be managing the entire West Coast division, he said, and she could hear the excitement in his voice even though he was trying to contain it. It's everything I've been working toward. Better salary, my own team, real responsibility. That sounds amazing, Lisa said, and she meant it. You always wanted something like that. Yeah, but that's the problem. Alex set his own mug down and leaned forward. 3 years ago, I would have said yes immediately. I would have packed up and left without thinking twice about what I was leaving behind. Lisa felt her heart skip a little. And now? Now I keep thinking about all the things I gave up the last time I chased a promotion. All the people I hurt because I was so focused on climbing the ladder that I forgot why I wanted to climb it, in the first place. The words hung heavy in the air. They both knew he was talking about her, about them, about the way their relationship had crumbled under the weight of his ambition. Alex, Lisa started, but he held up his hand gently. Let me finish, please. I need to say this. He took a deep breath. I used to think success meant doing everything alone, proving I didn't need anybody. But these past 3 years, even when good things happened, they felt empty, because I had nobody to share them with. Nobody who really knew me. Lisa felt tears starting to form again. She'd spent so many nights thinking the same thing. She'd achieved everything she'd wanted professionally. She had a corner office, a great salary, respect from her colleagues. But when she got home to her empty apartment every night, it all felt meaningless. I know the feeling, she admitted quietly. Do you? Alex asked, his eyes searching her face. Because you look like you've got everything figured out. You look successful and confident and happy. Lisa let out a small laugh. Looks can be deceiving. Yes, I have a good job. Yes, I make good money. But Alex, I haven't been on a real date in 8 months. Every guy I meet I compare to you. And they all come up short. The admission surprised both of them. Lisa hadn't meant to be so honest so quickly, but something about being in this apartment with him made her defenses crumble. Why? Alex asked softly. Because none of them see me the way you used to see me. They see the successful businesswoman, or the pretty girl at the bar, or whatever they think they want. But you used to see the real me. The me who gets nervous before big presentations, who still sleeps with a nightlight, who cries at sad movies even though I pretend I don't. Alex's face softened. You still sleep with a nightlight? Don't make fun of me, Lisa said, but she was smiling despite herself. I'm not making fun. I think it's sweet. I always thought it was sweet. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, both lost in memories of easier times. Finally, Lisa spoke again. So what happens now? You take the job and move across the country. We try to stay friends and text each other on birthdays? I don't know, Alex said honestly. I was hoping you could help me figure that out. Lisa set down her tea and really looked at him, really studied his face. The boy she'd fallen in love with was still there, but overlaid with the maturity of a man who'd learned some hard lessons. His eyes held the same warmth, but now there was wisdom there too. What are you really asking me, Alex? He was quiet for so long she thought he might not answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. I'm asking if you think there's any chance we could try again. Not pick up where we left off, but start over. Build something new with who we are now instead of who we were then. Lisa felt her breath catch. It was the question she'd been afraid he would ask and the question she'd been hoping for at the same time. Alex, we hurt each other pretty badly. I know, and I take responsibility for most of that. I was selfish and thoughtless, and I took you for granted. But Lisa, I've learned from those mistakes. I've spent 3 years becoming the kind of man who deserves someone like you. And what if we try and it doesn't work? What if we're just too different now? Alex leaned forward, his eyes intense but gentle. Then at least we'll know we gave it our best shot. At least we won't spend the rest of our lives wondering, what if? Lisa closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the decision pressing down on her. When she opened them again, Alex was still looking at her with that same patient, hopeful expression. If we did this, she said slowly, it would have to be different. I'm not the same girl who used to wait around for you to have time for her. I have my own life, my own goals, my own needs. I wouldn't want you any other way, Alex said immediately. Lisa, your independence, your strength, your ambition, those aren't things I want to change about you. They're things I admire about you. Things that make me want to be better. Something in his tone convinced her he meant it. This wasn't the same man who used to get threatened when she had to work late or when she talked about her own career goals. Okay, she said finally. But I have conditions. Conditions? Alex asked, but he was smiling. I'm listening. Lisa took a deep breath, organizing her thoughts. 3 years of therapy and self-reflection had taught her to know what she needed and how to ask for it. First, if we're going to try this, we're going to do it right. No rushing, no pretending the past didn't happen. We need to take time to really get to know each other again. Alex nodded seriously. Agreed. What else? Second, we need to be completely honest about everything. No hiding behind work, no avoiding difficult conversations. If something bothers us, we talk about it immediately. That's fair. I used to be terrible at that. We both were, Lisa admitted. And third, we make decisions together. Big decisions, small decisions, all of it. No more choosing work over each other. No more assuming the other person will just understand. Alex was quiet for a moment, and Lisa worried she was asking too much. But then he smiled, and it was the same smile that had made her fall in love with him 5 years ago. You know what this means, don't you? He said. What? It means I need to call them back about the Seattle job. Lisa's heart sank. Alex, I'm not asking you to give up your dreams for me. That's not what I want. I know, he said, standing up and walking to the window. But maybe my dreams need to change. Maybe success isn't about moving as far away as possible and proving I can do everything alone. He turned back to face her, and Lisa saw a certainty in his expression that hadn't been there before. There are other jobs, Lisa, other opportunities, but there's only one you. But this is such a big opportunity, Lisa protested, even though her heart was singing. You can't just throw it away. I'm not throwing it away. I'm choosing something better. Alex came back to the couch and sat down next to her, still maintaining a respectful distance but close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his green eyes. What if I moved to Seattle with you? Lisa asked suddenly, surprising herself with the words. Alex's eyes widened. What? Lisa, you can't do that. Your job, your life, everything is here. My company has an office in Seattle too, Lisa said, the idea gaining momentum as she spoke. I've actually been thinking about requesting a transfer. I'm tired of this city, Alex. I'm tired of the memories, the places we used to go, the constant reminders of what I lost. You'd really consider that? Alex asked, his voice full of wonder. For the right reasons, with the right person, yes. Lisa reached out and took his hand, feeling the familiar warmth of his skin against hers. But only if we're really doing this. Only if we're really committed to making it work this time. Alex looked down at their joined hands, then back up at her face. Lisa, I have never been more committed to anything in my life. These past 3 years without you have been the longest of my life. I don't want to waste another day pretending I don't love you. The words hit her like a physical force. Love. He'd said it. They'd danced around it all evening, but now it was out there, real and vulnerable and honest. I love you too, she whispered. I never stopped loving you. I was just too hurt and too proud to admit it. Alex lifted his free hand to her face, his thumb gently tracing her cheek. Can I kiss you? He asked softly. Lisa nodded, not trusting her voice. When his lips met hers, it was like coming home after a long, difficult journey. It was familiar, and new at the same time, holding all the sweetness of their past and all the promise of their future. When they finally pulled apart, Lisa rested her forehead against his. So what do we do now? She asked. Now we figure it out together, Alex said. Step by step, day by day, decision by decision. Together. Outside, the rain had finally stopped, and the first rays of morning sunlight were starting to filter through the clouds. Lisa looked at the light streaming through Alex's windows and felt something she hadn't felt in 3 years. Hope. Real, genuine, unafraid hope for the future. Together, she agreed, and meant it with every fiber of her being. 3 weeks had passed since that rainy night at Alex's apartment. 3 weeks of careful phone calls, lunch dates, and long walks in the park. They were taking things slow, just like Lisa had asked, but every moment together felt like a small miracle. Lisa was sitting at her desk trying to focus on quarterly reports when her phone buzzed. A text from Alex. Can you meet me at our old coffee shop after work? I have something to tell you. Their old coffee shop. The place where they used to spend hours talking about their dreams, their fears, their future together. Lisa hadn't been back there since their breakup. The thought of returning made her nervous and excited at the same time. She texted back. Sure, 6 p.m. Perfect. See you there. The rest of the afternoon dragged by slowly. Lisa found herself checking the clock every few minutes, wondering what Alex wanted to talk about. They'd been making such good progress, taking time to rebuild trust and really get to know each other again. She hoped nothing was wrong. When she finally walked into the coffee shop at exactly 6 o'clock, she spotted Alex immediately. He was sitting at the same corner table they used to claim as their own, 2 cups already waiting on the table. He looked nervous, his hands fidgeting with a napkin. Hey, Lisa said softly as she approached the table. You beat me here. Alex, stood up and gave her a gentle hug, something that still felt wonderfully new and familiar at the same time. I got here early. I was too nervous to sit at home. Nervous. Lisa sat down across from him and picked up her coffee. He'd ordered her favorite, a caramel latte with extra foam. Should I be worried? No, Alex said quickly. At least I hope not. He took a deep breath. Lisa, these past 3 weeks have been incredible. Getting to know you again. Seeing how strong and amazing you've become. Rebuilding what we had but making it better. Lisa smiled. I feel the same way. It's been wonderful. But I need to be completely honest with you about something. Alex's expression grew serious. I got a call today about the Seattle job. Lisa's heart skipped a beat. Oh? They said they need an answer by Friday. The position starts in 6 weeks. Alex reached across the table and took her hand. Lisa, I want you to know that whatever I decide, it's going to be what's best for us. Not just me. Us. The weight of his words settled between them. This was it. The first real test of their renewed relationship. The first big decision they'd have to make together. What do you want to do? Lisa asked quietly. Alex was silent for a long moment, his thumb tracing circles on the back of her hand. Honestly, part of me wants to take it. It's an amazing opportunity and the money is better than anything I could get here. But the bigger part of me is terrified that if I move across the country, I'll lose you again. Lisa felt her chest tighten. Alex, I told you I'd consider moving to Seattle too. I know you did. But Lisa, I've been thinking about that, and I don't think it's fair to ask you to uproot your entire life for me. You have a great job here, friends, family. Your whole support system is here. My support system can visit, Lisa said with a small smile. And my job. Well, I actually have news about that too. Alex raised his eyebrows. What kind of news? Lisa took a sip of her coffee, trying to calm her nerves. I talked to my boss yesterday about the Seattle office. They've actually been looking for someone to help launch a new project out there. Someone with my experience and background. Lisa, no, Alex said immediately. I can't let you do that for me. You're not letting me do anything, Lisa said firmly. This is my choice. And honestly, Alex, I've been thinking about making a change anyway. I love my job, but I've been doing the same thing for 3 years. I'm ready for a new challenge. Alex studied her face carefully. Are you sure? Really sure? Because if we do this, if we both move to Seattle, there's no going back. We'll be starting completely fresh, just the two of us. Lisa felt a flutter of excitement mixed with fear. That sounds terrifying and wonderful at the same time. It does, doesn't it? Alex laughed, and some of the tension left his shoulders. Lisa, I need you to promise me something. What? If we do this, if we take this leap together, promise me you won't regret it. Promise me that if things get hard or if you start missing home, you'll talk to me instead of just suffering in silence. Lisa squeezed his hand. I promise, but only if you promise me the same thing. No more shutting me out when work gets stressful. No more pretending everything is fine when it's not. Deal? Alex said without hesitation. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, both processing the magnitude of what they were discussing. Moving across the country together. Starting over in a new city. It was a big risk, but it also felt like the right next step. So we're really doing this? Lisa asked softly. Alex brought her hand to his lips and kissed it gently. We're really doing this. Together. As they walked out of the coffee shop hand in hand, Lisa felt a mix of emotions swirling in her chest. Fear, excitement, love, hope. But mostly, she felt ready. Ready for the next chapter. Ready for the adventure. Ready to build a life with the man she'd never stopped loving. The Seattle job wasn't just an opportunity for Alex anymore. It was an opportunity for both of them to create something new and beautiful together. 6 months later, Lisa stood in the kitchen of their new apartment in Seattle, watching Alex attempt to make pancakes from scratch. He was concentrating intensely, his tongue sticking out slightly the way it always did when he was focused. Flour was everywhere, on the counter, on his shirt, somehow even in his hair. You know they make pancake mix in boxes, right? Lisa teased, wrapping her arms around his waist from behind. Just add water and everything. Where's the fun in that? Alex laughed, leaning back against her. Besides, I'm getting better at this cooking thing. Remember my first attempt at spaghetti? Lisa groaned at the memory. The smoke alarm went off 3 times and we had to order pizza. Exactly. This is definite improvement. Lisa smiled and rested her cheek against his shoulder. These quiet, Sunday mornings had become her favorite part of their new life together. No rushing to get ready for work, no distractions, just the two of them in their cozy apartment with the whole day ahead of them. The move to Seattle had been everything they'd hoped for and more challenging than they'd expected. The first month had been particularly rough. Lisa's new job was demanding, and Alex was working long hours trying to prove himself in his new position. They'd had their first real fight about whose turn it was to grocery shop, of all things. But they'd kept their promise to each other. Instead of shutting down or running away, they'd talked it through. They'd figured out how to balance their work schedules, how to share household responsibilities, how to make time for each other even when life got hectic. The Johnsons invited us to their barbecue next weekend, Alex said, flipping a pancake with more confidence than skill. And Katie from your office wants to set up a double date with her and her boyfriend. Look at us, Lisa said, squeezing him tighter. Making friends like real adults. I know, right? Who would have thought? Alex turned in her arms to face her. Any regrets yet? Lisa looked around their small but bright kitchen, with its yellow walls and the herb garden they'd started on the windowsill. Through the window she could see the mountains in the distance and the bustling city below. It wasn't home yet, not exactly, but it was becoming home. Only one, she said seriously. Alex's face fell slightly. What? I regret that we waited so long to do this. I regret all the time we wasted being apart when we could have been figuring it out together. Alex's smile returned, brighter than before. Well, we're together now. That's what matters. Yes, we are, Lisa agreed, reaching up to brush the flour out of his hair. And Alex? I love you. Not the memory of who you used to be. Not the potential of who you might become. I love exactly who you are right now in this moment, covered in flour and making slightly lopsided pancakes. Even though I'm a terrible cook? Especially because you're a terrible cook. It means I get to teach you things. Alex set down his spatula and cupped her face in his hands. I love you too, Lisa. I love how brave you were to take this chance with me. I love how you make everything better just by being there. I love the way you laugh at bad movies and how you always steal my hoodies even though you have perfectly good ones of your own. Your hoodies are warmer, Lisa protested with a laugh. Keep them all, Alex said softly. Keep everything. My hoodies, my heart, my whole life. It's all yours anyway. Lisa felt tears prick at her eyes, but they were happy tears. That's the sweetest thing you've ever said to me. I'm just getting started, Alex said. And then he kissed her, soft and sweet, and tasting like the vanilla extract he'd been using in the pancakes. When they broke apart, Lisa noticed something burning. Alex, she said gently. The pancakes are on fire. Alex spun around to see smoke rising from the pan. Oh no. He quickly turned off the burner and moved the pan to a cold burner. But it was too late. The pancakes were definitely burned. They looked at each other for a moment, then burst into laughter. Pizza for breakfast? Alex suggested sheepishly. Pizza for breakfast, Lisa agreed. As Alex called their favorite pizza place, Lisa looked around their kitchen again. The flour-covered counters, the burned pancakes, the slight chaos of two people still learning to live together. It was messy and imperfect and absolutely wonderful. This was their life now. Not the fairy tale they'd dreamed about when they were younger, but something better. Something real and tested and built on a foundation of genuine love and respect. Through the window, Seattle stretched out before them, full of possibilities and new adventures. They'd taken the leap together, and they'd landed safely in a life that belonged to both of them. And as Alex hung up the phone and announced that pizza would arrive in 30 minutes, Lisa couldn't imagine being anywhere else in the world. "So," Alex said, pulling her close again, "what should we do while we wait for breakfast?" Lisa smiled and kissed him again. "I have a few ideas." Outside, the city hummed with life, but inside their little apartment, Lisa and Alex had found their own perfect piece of the world. Together,